Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Friday edition of the show that's on in the afternoon.
Hey, Friday.
We've got a great Friday show here for you today.
Yes, great people in studio. Very excited.
Yeah, man. Cathlene Miner joining us once again. Always good to have Cathlene in studio with us. And Sophia Norley joining her from across the pond.
I know, I'm so excited. Rumor has it she gave up her Taylor Swift tickets just to come to the studio today for this interview.
Wow.
So pumped, yeah.
I'm going to hate when she finds out we're not that important.
Oh, yes, we are.
And Sophia's also got a book that we want to bring to your attention as well. And we will talk about that shortly. And all your good stuff as well, your events, your horoscopes, your funnies to end the day. That'll be a great Friday show.
It'll be a great Friday.
Looking forward to it. Also looking forward to
English I have good.
There we Jeez. Since 1949, Bozard Ford Lincoln's been more than just a dealership. They are, in fact, a family-owned beacon of trust right here in St. Augustine. Founded on the principles of honesty, integrity, and community service, the Bozard family tradition continues to thrive through generations. They've got that state-of-the-art service facility with 91 climate-controlled service bays out there. A quick lane for no appointment-needed maintenance, and you can enjoy the comforts of their customer lounge and the unique flavors of Ford's Garage while you're there. They are the proud recipients of the prestigious Triple Crown Award and named Florida's Dealer of the Year by Dealer Rater. Their team dedicated to providing an efficient and enjoyable experience every single time you visit their campus. They offer the best in pricing, selection, and service just off 95 and State Road 16, where your satisfaction is their mission, and they are driven to inspire.
I see what you did there with the Triple Crown and the whole royalty thing.
Yeah,
cool.
see?
Nice
Boom.
teaser. Yeah, Sophia.
And also the Bailey Group. Getting enrolled in a health insurance or Medicare plan does not have to be complicated. It can, in fact, be quite the opposite. At the Bailey Group, you're going to work with a local insurance advisor to help you find just the right insurance coverage for your specific needs and your budget. Their goal is to make getting covered simple, no added costs, no extra fees. The Bailey Group handles individual, health, and Medicare, corporate benefits, and financial needs for their clients. Check them out today. Give them a call, sit down, and just see how friendly and helpful they can be for you. 904-461-1800. And then, of course, our friends at Elace Med Spa. If you're looking for a relaxing and rejuvenating experience, look no further than Elace Med Spa. They provide their clients with a wide range of luxurious spa treatments and advanced medical aesthetic procedures, whether you are looking to unwind with a hydrofacial or enhance your natural beauty with things like Botox, dermal fillers, or laser treatments, and a whole lot more. Their expert staff going to work with you to develop a personalized treatment plan tailored to your unique needs and goals. And if you mention Davey's name and you're a first-time client, get $100 off.
$100.
Yeah, man, that's huge.
I had 4 people last week. That's very cool.
That's awesome.
I'm climbing the pop charts.
There you go. Elace, go to elace.com.
Nice.
Kathleen, Sophia, welcome in. How are y'all doing?
Great.
Great.
Fantastic.
Very happy to
Awesome.
be here.
Hopeful.
Happy to have you.
We are hopeful
Yeah.
today.
Not with one L, but
2.
I
There you
love
go.
it. Nice.
Kathleen, you founded Hopefull Handbags
I
Global.
did.
Tell us what inspired you to create this amazing organization.
Yeah, so it started really because my mom grew up in an abusive home.
Mhm.
And my mom tried to keep that from us when we were little, but we lived across the street from my grandparents. And so for those of you that haven't heard the story, I'll give you a brief story of it. And, I had my aunt and uncle were around my age. So my mom's mom had 11 kids altogether. Right.
Wow.
So in the years spans were like 35 years between like the oldest and the youngest. So there was always a lot of kids. My mom was in the middle, and she's very much a caretaker, just as she is today, very much making that kid that always made sure everybody else was okay.
Yeah.
So as I grew up, got a little bit older, I realized why we lived across the street from my grandparents, because she still had siblings at home and she wanted to make sure everything was okay. Because unfortunately, her father was very abusive, not only to my grandmother, but to all of the kids.
Wow.
So that just stuck with me for my whole life, just not understanding why people stayed. I did know it wasn't right because I didn't grow up that way across the street. My sister and I didn't. We didn't know that. I knew that something was wrong because we lived a pretty happy life. Like, I was like, well, that's not normal. That's not normal. And then after I raised my kids, I started thinking, what would my grandmother do if there was somebody that she could reach out to that had no judgment, to help her either get out or just listen sometimes with an ear and get on with long-term sustainability. So my grandmother always loved her handbag. It's whether she left or she was there, she would always have that bag. And, after my grandfather, he had spent all the money and, the kind of the usual story.
Right.
So she couldn't really afford a handbag. So I remember taking the trips. It was like every 3 to 6 months, we'd go to JCPenney's and my grandmother would pick out a new handbag.
Oh, I love this.
And she'd always have the handbag with her and always had everything she needed in it. And so that's really why the handbags came into play. And I always knew that, when people leave, they don't really have everything that they need. We all know that. So I started putting out and collecting handbags with necessities in them. And a lady called me in town because I posted on Facebook one day. This was back in 2016. Posted it on Facebook. And I didn't even know she was collecting. And she said, I have a couple bags, like a big bags full of bags for you. Can I drop them off somewhere? I was like, sure, bring them to my house. And that's how it started. But then since then, of course, the handbags are our focus because it opens up the conversation. Yeah. But from there, we focus on long-term sustainability because if we can help with anything that creates an atmosphere where, number one, whether they're in the relationship and they need to get out, usually it's years. This isn't usually a quick thing, right? Because they have to be ready to leave, even though we know they're ready to leave because we see it.
And a lot of times they're complicated with kids involved.
Exactly. There's a lot. I mean, I'm every day I deal with something like this every day. And then it just expanded globally because this is a global issue. So when we talk about long-term sustainability, it's different in every culture, different in every country and things. So we have to hone in on, okay, in this country, how can we establish long-term sustainability? How can we help?
I was going to ask you that since it's a global operation and there's like the way that some cultures treat women is eye-opening.
Absolutely.
Like I had a lot of Indian lady clients over the years for jewelry and they would have to wear their jewelry inside of their clothing because it's just for them. Like it's a protection for them. Just interesting. Like how do you deal with like the different cultures and you making sure that they get the support they need?
Yeah, well, it's all about, number one, I've learned about a lot of cultures. So I have to then do my research first and be really respectful of what they're telling me. However, also keep the head about me of these are still humans. Right. And nobody deserves to be treated this way. Yeah. And so it's like, because their whole families will disown them in some cases if you leave. Typically it's men, right? We know that men are abused as well, but typically it's women. Typically it's the men, or those are the ones that are coming forward. So it's just being really careful. I just have to be really careful what I say because I don't want, my first concern is the safety of the survivor and their kids.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say something that's going to have them not want to talk anymore. Or say, okay, this is too much for me. I can't do it. So it's kind of like baby steps.
Like you probably have an advocate with you of the culture just so that they can translate.
I did at first. Okay. Yeah. I mean, sometimes now I know enough about the cultures, not that I'm an expert, but I'm dealing again. We start dealing on a personal level. The cultures are still there and we know it, but we've got to talk about, again, safety. How are you supposed to be treated? You shouldn't be treated that way. I don't care what kind of culture and religion you're from. I mean,
you're a human being.
That's not why you're here. Yeah. You're not put on this earth to be abused. So it comes down to basically being a human. So sometimes the culture stuff, we've got to be mindful of that, but we also have to kind of put that to the side some and say, let's take all of this out. This is what we're focusing on. If not, a whole bunch of stuff gets piled on and nothing ever gets done. And people stay.
Yeah. Now, Sophia, talk to me about how you got involved in Hopefull Handbags and what your role is and why you're visiting here in the States.
So Cathlene and I are now friends. I would say that we are good friends. However, we met under different circumstances. Quite often, as if you come from abusive childhood, neglect, anything like that, you are a beacon for those that want to abuse you as you get older. So I fell into a marriage that was highly toxic, abusive, not good. So I met Cathlene during the process of coming out of that. And she was a help and a guide light, and, giving me a good old kick when I needed it. Love it. Because you will go from, yes, I can do this, it's the right thing, to no, I can't. To listening to what you've been told. You will go here, there and everywhere. That's why people like Cathlene are necessary. They are what are going to change this world. This is a pandemic, women and children being abused. And there's a vicious circle. And we need to change it because it will just get worse and worse. and the numbers will increase and increase. And once you leave, that's the dangerous time. That is the dangerous time where women will be killed, be tied to them forever, finances, the law. I'm still in the process of divorcing 4 years on because the system allows an abuser to still abuse. So
has there been changes in the system globally? Have you seen any kind of progressive? There has to have been something, right?
I think things have progressed. We are not in the 1800s still.
Okay.
However, they've not progressed enough to say that the leaving party, the abuser, whatever you want to call them, can just go underground and not answer any court letters, any letters from solicitors, which puts financial pressure on the woman and the children. To say that that is fine because that's the law and that's the process, we haven't moved on, have we?
No.
Yeah, all right, the woman and the child are not in the workhouse. However, they are still going without, still fighting for their lives, still fighting for their homes, or simple things like school uniform, food on the table. So no, we've not moved on enough. And for me, and I know Cathlene feels the same, it's a passion that after separation, after you say, go on, off you go, it should be easy to cut them ties.
Yeah.
Things should not be in that other person's favour. If they don't show up for court dates, let's say 2, 3 times, that's saying something. That's saying I'm not interested. I don't want the house. I don't want whatever.
But grounds for criminal activity as well.
Exactly. But in England, I'm not sure. I can't comment on in America, but in England, there's a process. We must follow it.
Wow.
That's what I've been told personally.
Yeah.
So that's how we met and sort of. Cathlene was my pull your socks up lady.
Yeah.
My cheerleader.
That's how we know her in town, absolutely.
I have it called just having a loving push. It's a loving push.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to just...
Sometimes there's got to be a push involved.
Let's
go.
And they look back and we all look back and say, okay, you did it. I knew you could do it.
Yeah.
You knew you could do it.
Yeah.
We just had to push a little bit.
Is that rewarding to you to see that kind of, change in someone's life?
Well, of course it is, because I always want everybody to be happy and healthy. And, that's just our nature, again, of humans. But for the most part, I just think that people need to be treated fairly, and they need to be not abused, and I want them to be able to move on. And when you see somebody that is in fear of moving on, because at least maybe it's fear for their life, which is a whole different situation that we have to deal with sometimes, right? We handle that in a certain way, but also just almost fear of themselves. Like they're afraid of failure, or they're afraid of, I'm so used to this normalcy that what am I going to do when it's not like that? Because at least I know what's coming. They know what's coming. It's abuse, and they know how the cycle works, whether it's physical abuse or psychological abuse or any kind of abuse.
Do you think being an abuser is genetic? Do you think it comes from like the anger management part of it?
Well, I think some of it could be, but then there's a difference between anger and somebody being able to go to anger management and deal with it than abuse.
Right.
There's a total difference.
Like breaking a cycle of therapy is no matter what, it needs to happen.
Well, right. But somebody that's an abuser is more of like a narcissist and things of that nature. Somebody that has an anger issue, however, could truly have an anger issue. I'm not saying it's okay.
Right.
But then can they cross that line and then become an abuser? Yeah. So it's kind of a fuzzy thing.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes people do what they see. Right. Mm-hmm. So as Sophia had mentioned that, if you grew up in an abusive home, if you look at those kids, either they go totally the opposite way because they're not raising their kids. And that's the way my mom was. Right. She grew up in an abusive home. It was a 180. Like our family was not going to be that way. Whereas unfortunately, some of our siblings, it wasn't the same. They either got into abusive relationships because that was the norm. Right.
Yeah.
So I really don't know that I can say it's hereditary. I do think though it is sometimes what they see, and then part of their personality is a narcissist type personality. I mean, and none of it's okay.
It's like a wildfire or flat fire that just grows.
Well, and then they also want control. Abuse is all about power and control. That's all it is.
Okay.
It is only power and control. And when they get power and control over one person, that's why they stick with that person. because you're going to go to the next person and they may be like, no way, buddy, you're out. But they already have control over that person. And they've got them now thinking that they're the only ones that can save their life. They're the only ones that think they're beautiful. They're the only, they're the only ones. And you can see how it starts. And then isolation comes in, and it's isolated. Then they're just isolated. Then their family probably doesn't talk to them anymore because they've tried to help them so many times.
You're exhausted.
And then, but also the survivors also told that they don't have your best interest at heart. You need to leave them. I'm the only one that can help you. So it's so much involved in it.
It is. It's very complicated.
Yeah, it is. And
Sophia, you've written a very, very personal book about your experiences with childhood abuse, correct?
Yeah. So as I grew up, I was much like what Cathlene's just said. I did 180. I have two beautiful daughters. They are stunning. They're strong women. They're doing well in both different things, but they're both doing extremely well, and I'm really proud of them. So I did that. They were never going to suffer what I suffered. However, doing that, I completely hid how I was treated as a child, and to the point that when people used to discuss childhoods, I would say mine was really bohemian. It's really flowery, like, oh yeah, we had strangers in and out of our house. There was music playing all the time. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was really, it's like Mick Jagger was there all the time. It was that,
Sounds like it, yeah.
So I always used to say that, and that's why it's called Escaping Bohemia, because I had to admit to myself, and this was only about 6 years ago, that actually it wasn't like that. However, it was a lot worse. I had to admit that my childhood was not bohemian. Parts might have been. There might be a few stories that are, a little
bit flowery. Was Bohemia an escape for you as a child, you think, maybe mentally?
I used to go to the bottom of the garden and I'd dream things up, and I was really imaginative, and that was how I escaped. So
like kid meditation at that time.
I used to hide in the tree and just pretend things were happening, and like mermaids were coming out the sea to help me, all kinds of things like that. It was great. But when I realized that I needed to admit to myself what had happened and stop carrying around this kind of bag of guilt and shame,
heavy,
and hiding, because I didn't want anyone to find out my childhood. I had good careers, had good children. I was pretending I had a really good marriage. I realised that I had to just let it go. I had to be the one to tell it before anyone found it out, because I was constantly worried that were people to find out stuff about me. Constantly. Wow. And I just thought, okay, let's do it. I like writing. What's the worst that could happen? And it was at a pivotal time of sort of the end of my relationship. It all kind of happened at the same time. It was meant to be, I think. It was all,
Was it like a shattered glass ceiling for you? Was it like a eureka moment, like all of a sudden, like, I'm going to write this book, I'm going to change people, my horror story is going to be someone's survival guide, I'm going to really change the paradigm here?
Exactly. I want the children that's still sitting on the bed crying, listening to the parents fight, argue, not having any food, starving, to be able to see there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I had to admit to myself, even though my children weren't subjected to what I was subjected to, or seeing the violence or anything, that was still happening to me. So I had to sort of let go of this baggage, but let go of current baggage as well. It was now I look back, a really strange time in my life. Absolutely. And COVID.
Yeah, of course.
and I think what's different too, that's not typical about your story, is that it was her mom, right? So Sophia was raised by her mom, and it was her mom that was an abuser, which is unusual.
Yeah.
It's not typical. You just assume it's a dad.
Right.
And then some of the situations that she had been put into, though, there were males that were abusive, that her mom put her in the situation of males abusing her.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's a very, and the thing I loved about the way she wrote it is they're really short, kind of almost like her just spilling out, this is what I remember of this.
Right.
And then towards the end, the last couple like paragraph or sentences are, but now I'm what did I take from this?
Yeah.
To kind of put a spin on it as, okay, what can I learn? Because obviously you can't change it. It happened. So now what can I take from this to be able to move on? Because almost like, she was, as she's told me too, kind of getting it out, as she said. So now she can lift that weight of, okay, now it's all there now. So I don't have to worry about anybody else finding out about this stuff. But I'll say and then you'll have to read the book to see more because we don't have a long enough show, but I will tell you, I was shocked. Especially coming from a childhood that was just, I would call it a normal childhood, great parents, just doing my thing. Right. To imagine kids, any child going through that stuff, even though I'd already kind of heard some stories that my mom had told me about, which I already thought was shocking. And I'm like, and here's more. And that's just two people.
Yeah.
So now when I'm talking to survivors and they're telling me about their childhoods, you're just like, and this is still going on. That's the thing, is this stuff is still going on today in homes behind closed doors that nobody knows about. And that's another reason why Hopefull Handbags is so important to me, is really, I want people to know that they can reach out. If I can't help you, I will find somebody that can. And that's why we collaborate so much, because we can't do this alone. I can't do this by myself. Sophia can't. We can't. But we have a great team, but we also have great people who also do great work in all communities around the world, even in those countries, like say Africa. Right?
Absolutely.
There are great people in Africa.
Yeah.
Some of them, not so much. But then again, there are great people in the United States. Some of them, not so much.
Yeah.
So, there's no difference is one thing I started to learn.
It happens globally.
It happens globally. They just might live in a house that has a dirt floor and you might have tile floor. But the same kind of stuff is happening in those houses. Yeah. But it's a very empowering book, to be honest.
And I think it's troubling to think about kids in that situation. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sophia, but when you're a kid, you just don't know any better. You just don't know that it's a bad situation. You don't realize that there are better situations and that you are just in this horrific place, and especially when it's coming from somebody like your mother. I mean, little girls, your mother is your superhero. You think your mother can do no wrong. And if your mother's coming down on you, then it must be your fault. So it had to be, I would imagine, very liberating for you to write this book and probably come to some realizations even at this point about what was happening.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. You don't know any different. I was probably near enough a teenager when I started to realize, hang on, this isn't right.
Bohemia is not right.
Yeah, it's not right. And, you feel, I can remember feeling as a little girl alone. Alone was the feeling a lot. Alone, scared, all those things. But like you said, didn't know why, or, thought everyone lived like it. And as I became a teenager, I realized, this isn't right. But what can you do?
But then fast forward, you became a mama.
Right.
So how was that, raising two beautiful kids and having all of this in your head, knowing that you escaped Bohemia, all the horrific things? Did you have PTSD as a mom? I don't want to get too angry with my kids. How did you catch yourself from not creating a cycle of abuse that you were learned? That's what you were taught.
So as a child, I was very lucky. I had two grandparents, grandma and a grandfather, who were my rock. So without them, I'm not sure I would have got through it like I did. When I had my first daughter, Phoebe, who is amazing, I literally had the mentality 24/7 in my head, just do the opposite to what your mother would have done. You'll be fine.
Wow.
All the time. But I did, when I found out I was pregnant, even though I was married, I cried my eyes out. I was like, I don't have to be a mum. I'm going to end up killing her by accident.
Right. I hear you.
I don't know what I'm going to do. And I can remember probably for about a month, I would just walk around and carry her like this and be really gentle, and because I had no idea.
Right.
Then I realised, my baby knows what I need to do. She's going to tell me.
Yeah.
So actually Phoebe taught me. Aww. And then when my youngest came along, Bess, she taught me more. So, they might now and again say I'm a really bad mother, but
never. I can see it in your eyes.
All kids will say that at some point, but they don't understand, right?
I look at them and I'm proud. And I must say, my mum, she didn't break the cycle. And I have never held any malice to her at all.
Right.
As a teenager, I probably hated her. I can remember smashing bottles of drink against the shed, down the sink, and she would just say, I'll buy more. So I had probably not normal teenage hate, but I don't that woman just wasn't strong enough to break that chain.
Right.
But I've done it for her, and I've done it for her mum, and generations back. Not only generations forward, you know, I've done it for her.
That's powerful.
As well. Because I could have been her. I could have taken the wrong choice. Yeah. I could have said, right, okay, I'll start drinking. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll go to prison. But I didn't, you know. But I think that's a mixture of personality, luck, good people around you, good kids to teach you what to do. You know, we're all one step away from making a bad decision.
Make the right one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So how does all this play into your journey with Hopefull Handbags, and what are you looking forward? Are there any initiatives coming up that you are looking forward to being involved in with Hopefull Handbags?
I just kind of follow Cathlene's lead. I mean, she has been such a star to me and my girls that I am happy to help out, do what I need to do. I've done some writing for Hopefull Handbags, which I'd love to do more of. I have probably 7 books in my head, some around escaping abusive marriages and stuff like that. So I'm happy to follow her lead. We've talked a lot about doing stuff to help women post-separation because, like I've said before, this is the bit that is pivotal. It's pivotal to get help. So yeah,
it's those chains that aren't really broken. You can leave. You can leave. But another thing that Sophia works on that you really say is writing letters and really getting with the people that are making the laws and things of that nature, kind of like we do in the U.S. Same thing in the U.K. Like she said, she's still 4 or 5 years in now, and can't get a name off of a mortgage. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just these things that you still have a tie to. That means you can't move on with your life.
Right.
You can't move on.
Yeah.
Because you're still in limbo with somebody who's not supportive at all. If anything, still abusive.
Yeah.
In ways, right? And they're still controlling.
There's a show on Apple Plus right now called Lady in the Lake, and it's a lady trying to leave her marriage, and she's trying to sell the car, and they're like, "Ma'am, you need your husband to be able to sell this car."
This is her life.
I mean, this is absolutely case in point, which is eye-opening to me. It's like, this is a human, and she's on the title of the car, like she wants to sell it, but they were like, "No, you need a husband."
And then I don't know how many years it's been going. 3 years with the house, 4 years.
Yeah, nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I pay the mortgage. Do everything to do with the house. I do, yeah. That's my choice. You know, I want to. My children need somewhere to live. I've just had to change my mortgage rate because I came off one, you know, and then you have to pay loads. So I had to change that.
Because they won't take names off.
Yeah, but he won't take the name off. And also they said to me, okay, we filled out all the paperwork. We have to send it to him as well. And if he disagrees, then you won't get it. I was like, it kind of like you just want me to fail.
Right.
You just want to take my house back, you know? So for me, this experience has fired me even more. This fired me, and now I'm fired even more because it is not fair. It needs to stop. This is why women go back. This is why women commit suicide after leaving an abusive relationship. It is so, you know, suicide after leaving for women is really high. And I know why. I spent a week trying to work out how to kill myself without my children feeling pain. How crazy is that? How crazy, you know? But that's what happens because you can't really leave. And they told you, you know, the abuser said that you'll never leave.
This world needs your fire, but I want your fire to be sustainable and not just a bonfire and then it burns out. You've got it every day was a new chapter in another book, which I think this is incredible for you sharing the story.
Yeah. So she does a lot of that. 70% of women, they can't move on. Like they can't, like it takes years and years and years. And they're great people.
Yeah.
So.
Escaping Bohemia is the name of the book. Where can people get it?
Amazon or
Hopefull Handbag website.
Hopefull Handbags,
okay. Awesome. And it is that. That's the name of the website, right?
Hopefull Handbags with 2 L's.
2 L's.
Yep.
Very cool.
That's right.
And a portion of the book sales go to Hopefull Handbags too, which I love that narrative too. That's awesome.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
That's huge. Sophia, Kathleen, thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for telling your story.
Thank you.
It's so powerful and people need to hear it. Yeah.
We got you, Sophia. Come on over. We got you. So proud to meet her. Awesome.
Very powerful, man.
Very, very,
really,
very
really
powerful.
Is. And to be able to take experiences like that and write them, be an open book to the rest of the world is It's got to be a scary thing, but it's such an important thing and such a powerful thing for Sophia to be doing.
Be changing lives around the world. That's important.
Yeah, man.
Keep talking the story out.
Hey, I want to let you know about our friends at Old Town Trolley. If you didn't know, a big part of their philosophy is giving back to the communities in which they operate. Old Town Trolley proud to offer their sincere appreciation and support for our St. Johns County schools, organizations like Patriot Service Dogs, and they're big on their autism designation as well. I know that's very important to them. Old Town Trolleys also offers uncountable transportation donations to many local fundraisers and events such as Light Up the Night, the 4th of July fireworks, the beach blast off in the Holly Jolly Shopping Trolley. Check them out. They are the green trains. They are the Old Town Trolleys. We love them.
And Floridians, let's talk about something we take very seriously. That's air conditioning, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we're not fans of being left in a hot mess of humidity. So when was the last time you gave your home some love? Your home unit some love, for a fabulous 45 years. Steve Chapman's All-American Air have been the AC hero of St. Augustine and beyond. We're talking St. John's, Flagler, Duval, and Putnam counties. They're not just the experts, they're the cool cats of warranty and non-warranty service work. They have preventative maintenance service agreements, new construction installations, and rocking high efficiency systems from the Lennox Wonders to the ultra-smart iComfort thermostat. They've got all your HVAC products in sight. Give them a call today. Get on one of those maintenance plans, 904-461-0070.
And of course, our friends at Bin 39 Wine Bar right there on the Orange Street side of St. George Street. Beautiful spot for you to find your new favorite wine out there. They got over 95 wines for you to choose from. Whether you just want to sip and sample or take a bottle or two home, they can help you out. Irving scours the globe for the best wines literally on the planet to bring them right back here to us here in St. Johns County. We're very lucky that he does. You're going to really enjoy the atmosphere, the vibe out there at Bin 39. You can sit in the courtyard, relax, just kick your feet up.
Hey, speaking about sitting in that courtyard, Pete, they've got a So Long Summer Backyard Bash happening at Bin 39.
Okay.
It's time for another Bin 39 production. Join them Tuesday, August 20th, big night that night. Barbecue, drinks, and games to say goodbye to summer, and live music that's going to be happening. So check them out on their socials. It's happening 4 to 7 on the 20th. It's a Tuesday night.
All right. Very cool. Thank you very much, sir. It is horoscope time.
Oh, crap.
Pisces and Capricorn on deck. We will start with, not me, Capricorn.
Of course.
Capricorn. Your meticulous planning will fall apart faster than a wet paper towel.
Oof.
All those lofty ambitions, prepare to watch them crumble in slow motion.
Whoa.
Your workaholic tendencies will lead to burnout, making you as effective as a broken clock. Instead of climbing the corporate ladder, you'll be falling down the slippery slope of incompetence. Enjoy the descent. Pisces.
Oh.
Dreamy Pisces, your head in the clouds demeanor will lead you straight into a minefield of reality checks. Every creative endeavor will be met with criticism, harsher than a Gordon Ramsay tirade.
Wow. He's nasty.
Emotional? You bet. Your tears will fill an ocean this week, and you'll float adrift on a raft of unmet expectations.
Cry me a river.
There you go. Everyone's tired of your poetic musings, so give them and yourself a break, and we hope you enjoy the time of your life.
Poetic. Let's use poetic.
All right.
Interesting there. Hey, I'll tell you what. You'll be excited for this. Don't miss Kevin Farley.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if you liked him or not.
Yeah, he's all right.
All right, August 31st, coming to Cafe 11, St. Augustine Beach. They have reserved seating, dinner served until performance begins. You must be 21 and over. The doors open at 7, but if you're there before that, you can just hang out. And then obviously the show starts at 7:30. Yeah, Kevin's got a very long bio, very, very cool. We know him from the Frat Pack and Joe Dirt 2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's a super funny comedian, and obviously we know his brother very well too. Chris Farley, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, very exciting. Coming it down. Kevin.
Right. That should be fun.
Yeah. Hey, we talked to Free Kids Academy. Did you know that they're hiring?
No.
Now you do. Seeking teachers who inspire the mind, the body, and the spirit. Free Kids Academy, they have higher pay, shorter days, and smaller class sizes. They have a custom education for your kids. Check them out. I'll put link in comments if you're interested out there. But Free Kids Academy, they're hiring.
All right.
Celebrate the grand opening and a ribbon cutting ceremony for Anything EC on Saturday in Hastings on August 17th at 11 a.m. Explore the new space and enjoy delicious treats from Kona Ice and Danny's Dogs, with a portion of the proceeds supporting Southwoods Elementary School. Love that. This event marks the 4th new business on Main Street, just a little over a year now, a testament to Hastings Main Street commitment to fulfilling vacant spaces and fostering the economic vitality. Love that out there. Go check out the Anything EC grand opening and ribbon cutting Saturday at 11 a.m.
Cool. All right. Gotta let you know about our friends at Magnolia Family Dentistry.
Yeah.
Hey, they are redefining what it means to visit the dentist in St. Augustine and St. Johns County. Led by the dynamic Dr. Paula Rodriguez, Magnolia Family Dentistry is not just about clean teeth. It is about a clean and pleasant experience from start to finish. From the moment you step through their doors, you're going to be welcomed into the state-of-the-art practice that is Magnolia Family Dentistry, and they prioritize your comfort and your well-being. Their commitment to excellence shines through with every aspect of their care. From routine checkups to advanced procedures, Dr. Rodriguez and her dedicated team are going to provide you a warm, caring atmosphere where your health and happiness are their top priority. See what all your friends and neighbors are smiling so big about. 904-824-0990. And another reason to smile, checking out Shayla Moore.
All right.
Where you will step beyond the velvet rope and into the heart of plush romance. St. Augustine's premier jazz venue, tapas lounge, and special event space is Shayla Moore. Treat yourself to an unforgettable evening where Chef Ellie Rose's artisanal tapas dazzle your taste buds, and Chef Austin crafts fresh, vibrant, and exclusive sushi experiences to elevate your palate. Sip on fabulous drinks while live jazz fills the air, creating the perfect date night ambiance. They specialize in great dinners, and also you can rent out their space.
Oh, nice.
You can rent out that space for private dining, rehearsal dinners, baby showers, luncheons, great parties, and more. The space is available for groups of between 20 and 150 people. And if you're reserving for the holidays, mention 904 now and save $200 on that reservation. That's huge.
That is huge.
They're located in St. Augustine's vibrant uptown scene at 45 San Marco Avenue. And they offer complimentary parking for their guests. That's huge. It's a 21 and up establishment, and they are open 7 days a week from 4 to 11. If you want to reserve your table, just go to bitesbubblesandjazz.com.
And Panache, they've been living the fabulous life since 1987, and they always invite you to enjoy their Pamper Party. The mission is simple. They're there to sprinkle joy from head to heart, one guest at a time. Boy, they really do care about our community, too. And I just got a text from Michelle. She would like to remind everybody that Stuff the Bus is happening at the St. Augustine Amphitheater this Saturday. So tomorrow, head over to the farmer's market, or you can go to theamp.com and check out what everybody needs. They need pens, Crayola crayons, spiral notebooks, glue sticks, a bunch of cool things that are going to go to the Education Foundation known as Inc. in town. But yeah, check that out. I'll put link in comments. You guys, we got to rally around some school supplies. I know they're hurting for some. So yeah, shout out to Panache. They did a great school supply drive. I know there's a drawing going on right now too. So you can win $100 or $250 gift card to Panache. We love them over there.
Awesome. Very cool.
Panache.com.
There you go. All right, man. What do we got?
All right. Hysterical photos of pets who got stuck while eating.
Okay.
This first one, look at this cat. Talk about a pretzel, right?
Jeez.
This next one, the gentleman was apprehended today while committing a burglary in a vending machine. There he is, there, Rocky the raccoon.
Got stuck there.
Oh, how about there's a bagel necklace? I actually want to try this.
Okay.
Is that one size fits all? It looks amazing, right? Next up, oh, this puppy got Pringled. He got his nose stuck in the Pringle thing. Next up, cat in a box. Wow, talk about Fruit Loop, right?
Yeah.
Next up, squirrel got stuck in his feeder, but he seems pretty happy.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Next up, this is a Friday night muzzle if you want a cheaper version than actually going to buy one.
There you go. Well, that dog's going to die soon. Sugar, very bad for dogs.
Yes, breathe through the eyes.
Yeah, there you go.
Next up, the Happy Meal toys are getting a little out of hand, I think. Yeah.
Jeez, that's the cutest Happy Meal toy I've ever seen.
Yeah, very greasy. Next up, good to the last drop. Apparently that's Folgers, and a goat got stuck in a coffee can there.
Oh, okay.
Next up, my dad just took home 2 new bulldog puppies, and one of them got their head stuck in the food bowl slot. Oh, that's a way to keep them still.
Yeah.
And finally, she got her head stuck in the box, but the ears are out.
That's cute.
That's
fun. Cute. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. We will talk to you Monday.
Bye, everybody.